We're here to talk about Kindness Connect and the volunteer process. Let's begin by walking through the current process as a volunteer. First, you have to find a volunteer opportunity. Have you ever wanted to help out but didn't know where to start? Sometimes you can find an opportunity on a recruitment tool, or perhaps directly from an organization's website. Many organizations rely heavily on word of mouth. There's no clear-cut method. In fact, 1 in 4 non-volunteering Canadians reported not knowing where to start as a reason for lack of involvement. Alright, you found an opportunity and you'd like to get involved. How do you do it? Sometimes you have to call a phone number. Often you'll have to email. Maybe even visit a separate website. Regardless of the method, you'll always be required to fill in the same information for each opportunity. Applying becomes a tedious process. Moreover, the majority require overwhelming, long-term commitments. This can often deter interested people with busy schedules, or those simply looking to try an opportunity before becoming inspired and committing long-term. You've now applied to a volunteer position. How does that organization or group know who you are and what your preferences are? They could use Excel, a standalone database, perhaps an old-fashioned address book. Regardless of which method they use, your information is processed manually. This places a burden of work on the volunteer organization. And how about scheduling? A spreadsheet, manually on paper, or through a separate calendar? Lack of unity creates extra work, and things can sometimes get lost in the shuffle. Finally, how do volunteers and organizations communicate with each other? Email, phone, and newsletters are the most common methods. When used effectively, any of these methods should work well, yet many organizations reported this as a challenge with current tools. The problem lies in staying on top of communications. There needs to be an easier way to know when and how to get in contact with one another. After looking at the current volunteer process, there's no wonder volunteers and organizations are reporting difficulties. It's overwhelming. New barriers are created for both volunteers and organizations along every step of the way. Canada's current volunteer process is disconnected, it's complicated, and it can feel inaccessible. When volunteers and organizations connect, good things happen. But these disconnected and complicated processes mean that it's not easy for potential volunteers to help out, and volunteer organizations struggle to find and manage those much-needed volunteers. In the end, there's more questions than answers, and we miss out on a lot of potential. That's why we're reforming the volunteer process with Kindness Connect. Kindness Connect is a web platform that makes it easy and fun to help out, while providing accessible tools for organizations to manage their volunteers, all connected in the same place. To show how this works, let's go through an example. Meet Steve. He would love to help out in his community, but is hesitant about committing to something long-term. Steve can come to Kindness Connect and find an opportunity that matches his interests, skills, or perks, such as carpooling and home-based volunteering. Steve has found Wanda's wishes. Good choice. Steve has shown which days Wanda needs extra help, and he can apply to specific days that work with his schedule. The entire application is done without ever leaving the site. When Steve applies, his private profile is automatically shared with Wanda. Alongside basic information, it can even include a police background check or references automatically collected from previous volunteer experience. If Wanda needs additional information, it can simply be collected as a part of the application process. This is great for Steve because he doesn't have to re-enter information every single time he applies. Wanda can now leverage the information that Steve and other volunteers have already entered, without further data entry. That information can be accessed in a standard view, and her volunteers can even be organized into groups, which means that Wanda can quickly find and invite the right people to future opportunities. Wanda reviews all of the applicants in a single calendar view, and can schedule her volunteers at the click of a button. If Wanda isn't able to fill her requirements with the regular volunteer team, she can supplement with new recruits. That's where Steve comes in. Steve participates with a small act of kindness and is on his way to becoming inspired to help out on a regular basis. After being accepted, Steve and Wanda's calendars will both be automatically updated and can sync with their personal calendars. Not all organizations schedule events. Kindness Connect can be used to help recruit volunteers for those programs as well. Throughout the entire process, Steve and Wanda can communicate in a meaningful way. Direct messaging will be available for Steve and Wanda, or any other of her volunteer groups. Once an opportunity is complete, Steve and Wanda will have the ability to submit appreciation scores for each other. Wanda's appreciation score will be pushed to her public profile. This can be a helpful testimonial for future volunteers. Steve's appreciation score can be included in his private profile as a reference for future applications. Finally, we'll provide reporting for Wanda to make sure her organization is on track, and achievements for Steve to see all the great work he's done. Steve has overcome his barriers and was able to get involved. He found a position that interested him and helped out in a way that worked with his schedule. The entire process was a piece of cake. Wanda was given the tools to efficiently attract new volunteers, like Steve, and now has meaningful ways to easily correspond, express her gratitude, and retain those volunteers. Furthermore, the manual labor that she used to do is now being automated through Kindness Connect. Wanda can spend less time on maintenance and focus more time on doing good. A connection was made and good things were accomplished. Kindness Connect. Volunteering made easy, accessible, and fun.